Hello, hello. So here's an idea that is for sure not fully correct, but hopefully also not fully wrong. Okay, so think about politics. We have politics on the right and politics on the left. We have politicians and followers, let's call them, on the right and on the left. And usually we would expect that politicians on the right would have ideas and the followers on the right would support them, and the politicians on the left will have an ideas and people on the left would support them. And if it's more than about 50-50, we say both of them have the opportunity to bring their ideas when they get slightly more than 50%. Okay. However, I think what seems kind of obvious from observing society recently is that the people on the right are basically loyal to their leaders. So when leaders from the right bring ideas, the people from the right support them. And when the people from the left, the leaders from the left bring ideas, their supporters disagree, argue. Maybe there are eight different versions of the idea, and they fight over which one it is. And oh, how can you say this, and how can you support this, and so on. Now, let's not say eight. Let's say two for simplicity. So what this means is when leaders on the right bring up ideas, they get their supporters. When leaders on the left bring ideas, they get half of their supporters or a third of their supporters, but they don't get everybody. Now, when the leader on the right brings up an idea that is not purely right, but it's more centric, they will presumably get all the followers from the right because they support their followers, and they'll get some supporters from the left who like the idea. When leaders on the left would bring up an idea, they would not get all of their supporters, but they will also not get the supporters from the right because supporters from the right are more loyal to their leaders and against that leader. Now, if you think about this as a principle, what it means that only leaders from the right can bring about real changes. That the leaders from the left would always, when they bring up ideas, they'll always have only part of their supporters because there'll be lots of arguments and disagreements and so on. And the people from the right will not support them. When people from the right will bring ideas, they'll get their supporters. Plus, if the idea resonates with some people on the left, those ideas. So the first principle, or first kind of question is it correct that really, if we want to bring about changes, it's the leaders from the right who can bring up, who can make change. But then you can also ask, so what's the left for? Why would we have the left? And one suggestion could be that the left is an incubator for ideas. But in fact, what we want from the left is all of these debates, is all of these groups fighting with each other to try and hone the idea. That the left is really about trying to take ideas, bring them, debate them, polish them, discuss them, argue about them, and then when they're ready for prime time, they're adopted by the right and moved forward. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it's correct. I think there's something about it that's correct. Um, Let me know what your thoughts are. Bye for now.